Let's hear it for Krystal Sperry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Krystal Sperry, and I was wondering, what's in your cookie jar? Imagine you have 2 cookie jars in your home, one filled with cookies and one filled with weed. Now imagine the person that introduced this to you was your dad. In my home, this was a valuable lesson about open communication and responsible drug use. But let's back that up just a little so I can tell you a little bit more about this little girl and everything she went through to get to where I am today. See, my parents, they believed that they belonged together, but the police reports and the bruises would tell a totally different story. They aren't bad people, they just never really understood the concept of stability or money. Money comes and goes. Life is about memories. These are common things that I would hear growing up, so I'm sure you can imagine the lack of knowledge that I had for something as simple as just paying bills. At a young age, my mom met Steve. My parents split up, my mom met Steve. Steve had a home. We were stable, we had our own rooms, we had rules. I hated them at the time, but we finally had stability. I was even able to get involved in school activities like band. I played the flute and I was so proud. I was learning how to create goals and I was crushing them. Living with Steve was the definition of hope. He showed us what life could be like if we worked hard, saved money, he was a CPA, and set goals. But that only lasted 3 years. In 8th grade, I came home from school one day. My mom had everything packed. We were leaving. There was no explanation given, just get in. We went directly to my dad, and it was clear that they were getting back together. They moved us and 3 other family members into this pop-up camper. So my 9th grade year of high school, I got ready every day in a public bathroom. My flute went missing, my goals were nowhere to be found, and the path that I was on changed dramatically. But in 10th grade, they moved us to the world's most famous beach, and it was Daytona Beach back in MTV days. I was free to do as I pleased. Dad had introduced us to safe weed in the cookie jar, and there were so many boys. By the time I was 15 years old, my dad and I had developed a pretty good relationship. So I went to him and I told him that I needed help because I was using drugs. He told me to change my friends and I was allowed to leave the house that night. By 16, I was pregnant. I was going to be a mom, so my drug use had to stop. Malia was born, and mom and dad decided to move back to Texas. I was alone, but I didn't let that stop me. I graduated high school in 2004 from the Child's Academy, a local school for teen moms. I had goals again, a lot of decisions to make, but no discernment really to make them. And eventually, I met Rob. Rob was 28 with no kids and liked to party. I was 20 with 1, and by 2008, we had Colton. We struggled to pay the bills. It was $400 a month for rent. The lights would get shut off on a regular basis, but it was stability. Rob and I went through every obstacle from abuse, alcoholism, and drugs, and eventually I was diagnosed with lupus and several other autoimmune diseases. Something had to change, so we made a decision together to make a change. And we eventually opened Culture Model and Repair, a small handyman business, but for us, this was hope. Hope to create a better future, one where the light bill wasn't so stressful. We even got to move into this beautiful home. See, through growth, I've learned several things. It's okay to say no and let go of negative people. But the biggest lesson is to value the people who have supported you from the beginning of your dreams. In October of 2021, I launched the Elite Concierge. Stepping out of my comfort zone, I met role models and mentors who have influenced decisions that have changed my life forever. One of them even told me that I needed to change my money mindset, so I did. I now stand in front of you today, and I have an active business plan, an open savings account, a budget, and this year, I even started a retirement plan, something that I never thought would be possible. It's amazing how many opportunities come your way when you hold yourself accountable. I am in the Ambassador Next program. I am in the Daytona United program, and I'm so proud to tell you that I stand up here as an ambassador for the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce. When you work hard and you put in the work, people will notice. So many people have poured into me that it is now my turn to give back. So I pack food for kids that are hungry, knowing in my stomach how that feels. And I donate toys at Christmas, knowing how many times I needed that help for my kids. And I look forward to mentoring a small business myself one day. Throughout my journey, I've learned that knowledge that you can learn from business owners is invaluable, but the real value is learning to value yourself. So no matter what's in your cookie jar, if you decide to make a change, take action, reach out to people that you've never met, join your community, because where you started is so far from where you're going. Thank you.